What we're going to be talking about is, the lesson is called Massive Resistance After Brown. We're going to be talking about basically the history of what happened after Brown. So we're going to be talking a lot more about history, just like Mr. Dunbar spoke to you a lot about the history leading up to Brown on Tuesday. We're going to kind of pick that up with Brown and move forward. Before we do that, though, I want us to talk a little bit about the present. And that's what I want our discussion topic today to be about. So I want everyone to just take a look at this cartoon. This is a cartoon from 2004, which was the 50th anniversary of Brown v. Board of Education. Can I get someone just to read the bubble here? Amber, can you read what's in the bubble here?
Today we mark the 50th anniversary of the end of school segregation.
Right, and what is the school labeled here?
Majority school.
Right. So we have a picture here, right, of a dilapidated, presumably majority-minority school. And at the same time, there's this ironic statement that today we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the end of school segregation, right? And I think what this cartoon is really getting at is something that Mr. Dunbar alluded to on Tuesday, which is the difference between de jure and de facto segregation. Okay? He gave you the definition briefly on Tuesday. I want you all now to take that definition, to internalize it, to store it away in an important place that you can recall it on your quiz, because it will be on your quiz. Again, it will be on your quiz. It's funny, I'm saying that, and yet very few of you are actually writing this down. It will be on your quiz. This is an important distinction. I want us to understand it. Here it is one more time. De jure segregation is segregation that exists as a matter of law. Okay? It is segregation that is required by law. All right? That is to say, this is segregation prior to Brown, where the law itself required separate schools for black students and for white students, right? De facto segregation is segregation that exists outside of law. It exists for reasons that don't necessarily have to do with education law, right? So, for instance, it may be because our neighborhoods are racially segregated. It may be because there are disparities in income. These are some of the things we talked about in the past, right? We're not going to get into the details of what causes de facto segregation, but the important thing to recognize is that it still exists in many places today, and it's not caused by law. Yeah, DT.
Not only with segregation, or is there other things?
Other things that can be de jure and de facto? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make an argument that racism, school segregation itself was basically de jure racism, right? And, I guess de facto racism is kind of what we think of as everyday racism, good old garden variety racism, right? The ordinary bigot, right? This is just kind of the person that's kind of racist on the street that's outside of the law, right? But I really want us to think of these terms in terms of segregation, right? De jure segregation that existed under law, this was eliminated by Brown v. Board, right? De facto segregation, which many people, you can make a very good argument just looking at statistics in many urban school districts, continues to this day, right? So even if Co-op is a very diverse high school, right, clearly integrated, right, this is not the case in many places across the country. All right, so with that in mind, I want us to now jump into our warm-up discussion. Can I get someone to read the warm-up? Carly.
In 1954, Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka eliminated de jure segregation in American public schools. So schools remain racially segregated today. Is there a difference between de jure and de facto segregation? Defend your argument. Okay, great. So what I want us to do is, just as we've done in the past, I want you all to take 2 minutes on your own, just to kind of write down your initial thoughts to this. We'll discuss this in a couple of minutes, but I wanted to just, so that you're not saying the first thing that comes to your mind. Take a couple of minutes, sketch out, a brief answer. We're basically trying to get at what's the difference between de jure and de facto segregation. Is that difference important? Okay? Is that a difference that even matters to you all? Or is the idea segregation is segregation, whether the law is requiring it or whether it's happening for other reasons, it doesn't matter, it's still a problem? Or maybe you think, no, there's actually a value in making sure that it doesn't exist under the law. All right? Did you folks understand this question? The difference between de jure and de facto segregation. Do you think there's a difference? A lot of blank stares right now. You get the question, Terrence? Okay. Montreal? Okay, all right, so let's get to it. Take a couple.